The internet is strange. One random person can create an idea, then all of a sudden that idea proliferates into something massive, and the whole world knows about it. People gather around to engage in content related to this idea. They draw art, they make music, and analyze the deeper meanings of it as well. And when all that is done, someone else has an idea inspired from the original, and then the cycle begins anew. Anyway, digital horror, that shit pretty good. This small subgenre has been going strong for quite some time, and each new series that pops up shows a brand new idea that hasn't been truly covered before. Oh, and tons of, oh no, there's a spirit in my early noughties cool math games clone website series. Digital horror is always something that I like to go back to, and similar to analog horror, I enjoy the different takes, explorations, and creators that have birthed from this small niche. And there's one series that very much stood out from the rest.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wake up, it's time to play with Lacey, and Skiko J.
Lacey Games is a series I keep coming back to a lot, and for good reason. It's probably the best of its kind. The story is interesting and engaging, its horror is beautifully done and haunting, and the art style that Ghost Tundra uses is something truly to behold. But there's something else that I've noticed a lot too. There's a ton of fan content for Lacey Games, more than any other internet horror series in recent memory. I'm not talking about deep dives and videos that react to the series. I mean fan art, videos that are heavily inspired by the series, remakes, video games, cosplay, fanfiction. So I thought today would be a good idea to go through all of these fan creations and inspired works. What makes them tick, what is something that they brought to the table, and most importantly, are they as good or better than Lacey Games itself? Probably not, but it's worth a shot. So come along, my dear viewer, and let's dive headfirst into the fan content of Lacey Games. Hi, I'm Meadow. You may not know me, but soon you will. Before we can begin with the video, I would need to lay down some ground rules for the video. Number 1, this video will be going off the assumptions that you have watched the Lacey Games web series. That means I'll be discussing spoilers from the videos, and I won't be doing a beat-by-beat recap of the videos themselves. I do highly recommend you watch the series first before continuing with this one, or you can just watch one of the other deep dives on the series instead. Or you could just keep watching. I can't stop you, but I will judge you harshly. Number 2, regardless of what you may think of some of the videos that I'll be showing you and what you consider to be good looking or whatever, I personally won't be basing my critiques on these videos on small minor nitpicky things. Things like spelling errors, pronunciation issues, drawing mistakes, that sort of thing. I think these aren't really conclusive to what I want to talk about, and I don't want to accidentally bully someone just because they said a word wrong. I'm not going to do whatever the hell Rocio does in the series. Hell, it would be hypocritical of me to do that as well. I mess up my words a ton, and I got roasted for my stupid pronunciation of Tsukehime in the last video. I am sorry for getting that word wrong, but unfortunately, it will probably happen again. It probably also happened just now.
Opening for you guys today, we got the Tsuka Hami? I think I killed that shit, I'm not gonna lie.
Now that these rules are in place, we can start the discussion regarding the fan content of Lacey Games. And to start things off, we need to talk about the original to see what people found so interesting about it. Lacey Games is a series that has held a tight grip in my mind for a while now. It's a series that handles concepts like abuse, grief, lost childhood, and trauma in a very thoughtful and audacious way. Even watching the first video, Lacey's Wardrobe, shows what it's going for. The stalker looking through the window and being obsessed over her. Lacey's pleas to not go outside while you dress her up in cute outfits. And one of the things that was picked up in some of the comments on these videos is no matter what clothes you pick, whether it's punky clothes or a cute dress, the ending is always the same. Speaking on the ideas of trauma and abuse in the series, the way that it represents that in the videos and games is really good, and much better than some other internet horror series in my honest opinion. In the video, The Disturbing Rabbit Hole of LaceyGames.com, Lacey struggles to properly grieve the loss of her best friend, and so she disassociates. She warps her understanding of the world she's in into this picturesque makeup parlor, but the facade does fade away. The abuse that Lacey and the creator of the website too went through has robbed her of her childhood, forced her to grow up and become more mature for her age, and thus wasn't able to experience the life that she could have experienced. Going out to the mall, hanging out with friends, listening to music, doing girly things. And whenever things go wrong within her life, she lashes out. She devolves into her previous self, and essentially re-traumatizes herself until she isn't able to take it anymore. I also don't want to skip the horror of fitting into gender norms as well. Rocio is someone who doesn't really do that. She's emo, she dresses up in hoodies and fits into this tomboy aesthetic, and so does Jay, a character that was also created for the website. As such, parents complained about Jay and her being too boyish, and as such, Rocio killed her off and made her reappear in other games where, even in death, she must become beautiful. These games aren't your girly games. They are the games for all of the girls and women who had to go through so much pain in order to fit the mold of what an ideal woman is. And Rocio putting all of these horrifying ideas into the Flash games in a way to cope is also traumatizing the children that are playing these games, and potentially beginning the cycle of trauma again, albeit in a lesser extent. I have been hurt, so I will hurt others. I think these themes and ideas that Lacey Games show is why so many people, especially women, are drawn to the series. It expertly speaks to the traumas that women still face to this day, and it makes them feel seen. As a trans woman as well, I think it also speaks to the fears that we have to go through in order to fit a cis-normative society and quote-unquote pass. Wearing makeup, dressing up in a girly fashion, acting more feminine, and doing jobs and roles more befitting of women. But those who don't fit in, or those who don't pass, are othered and tossed aside. Similarly to how the homophobic abuse Jay gets from the angry mothers. Another thing that I was drawn to personally is the art style of the horror sequences, especially in Lacey's pet shop. It's grungy and dark aesthetic that has a collage of real-life images, blurry text that shares what I believe to be the thoughts of Lacey during her traumatic episodes. All of this grunginess is very similar to another game that deals with girlhood as well, Silent Hill 3. The otherworld in that game is full of rust, red, and fleshy parts, similar to Lacey Games, and while Silent Hill 3 doesn't go too in-depth with abuse like Lacey Games does, it does explore womanhood and the battle for ownership of women's bodies in a beautiful way. Like how each of the characters want to control Heather for their own personal gain, and, that part where, Heather is vomiting God. And I'm not talking about the jungle artist. If you want a deeper exploration of Silent Hill 3, I recommend the videos by Tango Mushi and Eurofug4000. They're great videos that explore the themes and understandings of womanhood in that game. Now that we are on the same page regarding the themes of Lacey Games, and understanding why people have created fan art and content based on the series, I think it's time to cover the fan works that borrow heavy inspiration from the web series. Starting off with Liar's secret boyfriend. Liar's Secret Boyfriend was made by Hofuri Arts and Galactic Stella, and out of the videos that I'll be talking about today, this one is the one that has the most videos talking about it and formulating theories on it, but I'm going to leave that until the end of this section. The video starts off with a message explaining the game. Meet Liar, a sweet girl. One day, the most popular guy confessed his feelings to her. Surprisingly, she feels the same way. Now they're dating in secret, hiding their love from their curious classmates. Hope nothing goes wrong. The game starts with a admittedly very cute art style. I do really like this. After you select a level, you get a bit of backstory for the minigame that you'll be playing. For level 1, you have to hide her boyfriend's items away from your friends so that they won't get suspicious. These items are the boyfriend's hoodie, a picture of the boyfriend, and another picture of them together, a diary, probably Liar's, and a love letter. The next level is about making something for her boyfriend, probably a pie-flavored pie. However, the most interesting thing is that you need to be on the lookout for her roommate. I mean, you could just bake it in front of her, like just take off the love bandana, it kind of gives the game away. The final level is all about traversing the school to get to the secret meeting place for your boyfriend, while avoiding the others. But as you approach and open the door, you're greeted to this. Yay, you win. Cool, I guess. After that happened and you completed the game, you find a list of all the goals that you have achieved. Finding all the items, baking that pie, finding your boyfriend, and getting rid of the imposter. You also get a link to play more games, and it's here where the game starts to break down. When you click on the link, however, you gain access to a 4th level, where this time, you are playing as Liar's roommate, trying to find where she could be. You search the room, but you can't find anything, so you go into Liar's room and find the photo of Liar and her boyfriend. But this time, it's different. I think it's obvious from the wording of the minigames and the reveal in level 3 is that Liar doesn't actually have a boyfriend. The roommate, Ria, does. Liar is obsessed with the boyfriend to the point of actually stealing his hoodie and having pictures of him in her room. However, I believe that she had this obsession but didn't know that Ria was in a relationship with him. As such, the game flips into trying to replace Ria as his rightful girlfriend. However, how Liar does this is kind of left up to interpretation. Either Liar does something horrible to Ria to basically make her break up with him, or something worse. Honestly, you could try polyamory, that shit can fix anything. Probably, I honestly don't know. I will say that the twist you can kinda see coming a mile away from the descriptions, minigames, and even the name of the characters. Liar is one letter removed from Liar, and Ria being one letter removed from real. Pretty on the nose, but that part of it is kind of cool and neat. With its horror, it uses the typical trope of the rule of three, where usually the first two things are innocent and cute, while the third one starts the spook factor. This is very common within internet horror or indie horror in general, so you will just see this a lot. Also, I do know that this video was inspired by Doki Doki Literature Club, but the shot with the real life eyes was probably a bit too much on the nose for me. Overall, I do think it's less focused on the horror and was more into exploring a messed up Flash game that dealt with the toxic jealousy and obsession, which does work in my opinion. Apparently there's a potential sequel to the story that is planned, but I don't know when it's going to release, but I hope it gets to expand some of the ideas and makes it into its own thing fully. Now, on to the next video. Why did I say it like that? Popular boy kissing game made by Dancing Spelled Wrong is a relatively short video only clocking in at 3 minutes long. The video starts with high-pitched baby noises before loading into the title screen. After this, you just get a basic rundown of the game. A senior noticed you, and he likes her a lot. This could be her chance to have a real high school love. The Flash game is basically how long you can kiss while avoiding other people. What's with these Flash games and avoiding people? Do you just hate being perceived? Because I do. After this, you play another level where this time it talks about some ugly girl who thinks that she's his girlfriend and you gotta kiss her to make her feel better. The next level is actually set at a party, and that she needs to prove to everyone that she can kiss him better than any girl. However, instead of being caught, this happens instead.
Don't fucking touch me.
She walks out and closes the door, with the drawn environment suddenly becoming real. After that, you get a wind screen talking about how you made Amy's love the best that it could possibly be. Before it ends, you get to know her real thoughts. I feel gross. I like the video a lot, and it's mainly because how it tells its story. It's never fully stated outright, but from the changing faces and the body language of the girl, and how as you go through each level, the boyfriend gets more hands-on, with the second one looks like he's ripping her neck, Jesus Christ. The entries are written to be more in favor of the boy, rather than taking into account Amy's feelings and perspective. She just needs to prove to everyone that she can kiss him better than any girl. Really comes off as a justification for him to be too handsy with Amy. I think he also has some misogynistic tendencies, since the other girl in the second level looks relatively fine, but he calls her some ugly girl, belittling someone who doesn't fit his ideal standard of attractiveness. Also, notice how in the second level, they actually get caught, but nothing happens. In fact, when the level is completed, the other girl's face changes to be more concerned. The game that we are playing in of itself doesn't really matter in the end, as it's also used as a justification for his unwanted advances onto Amy. And when she finally stands up for herself, the game finally breaks down, and it suddenly becomes real as she leaves the door. The door becoming an actual image rather than it being drawn is really interesting, since maybe it's trying to show that the real horror isn't within the glitches and the jump scare, but with the situation that she was in. Also, the fact that the guy is a senior and that she's ready to tackle the rest of high school really comes off as weird and icky. Honestly, I'm just feeling gross just thinking about it. These next two videos I'll be covering are done by the same person, that being SethMath69. He has done two of the, in my opinion, best fan videos of Lacey Games, which are Best Friend September and Samara and Summer's Big Date. I'll be starting off with Best Friend September. In the description of the video, it reads: after the massive success of Lacey Games, Yaniso wanted to know who the next characters to join Lacey by her side would be, so they used the money they earned from Lacey Games to hire devs and other Flash game teams to make a bunch of Lacey Games spin-offs with new characters, to see what would stick. Of course, Maisie and Jay were the ones who managed to rival Lacey's popularity, which is why they're the only ones who were archived on the official Yaniso Games website. Now there's a whole bunch of Lacey Games spin-off characters that are completely lost, but don't worry, there's a small team of longtime Lacey fans working to recover and archive as many games and media that were made of these spin-off characters. Join us in our quest to recover all Lacey lost media. As the video begins, the girl, Rose, talks to you and simply asks for your name, what your favorite thing is out of playing, drawing, and crying. Big mood right there. And once you're done, you are given 3 games to choose from: hide and seek, dress up, and kitchen. Interesting though is that after you say your name, instead of saying Rose, she says September.
That's a really pretty name. My name is September.
The first game that you play through is the dress up game, and in it, you are just simply dressing up a doll to go on outings like going to school, going to a picnic, and
Help me pick out an outfit for.
one day my sister Rose went missing. She wasn't gone for too long. It only took a couple of days before we found her again. After she came back, she was never really the same. But one day my sister Rose went missing. I wonder where she went. I wonder when Rose will come home again. Once that's all done and you've dressed up your doll with, blood and guts, you decide to play something in the kitchen. This involves baking something really nice for September, so the player picks pancakes. You start to cook the meal together, but the screen starts to get red as you make it, but don't worry, it's all fixed now, so all you need to do is flip them pancakes. You gotta flip the pancakes.
Flip them. Keep flipping. Flip the pancakes. Don't stop. Never stop. Flip them. Flip them, flip them, flip them. Never stop flipping.
My sister Rose used to always talk about her boyfriend, who she met on a chat room on the internet. Don't worry, a lot of people meet their boyfriends online nowadays. She say it was safe. But my sister Rose used to always talk about her boyfriend. After she came back, I think they must have broken up. Poor Rose. She never truly understood. The final game you play is, well, obviously hide and seek, where nothing scary will happen whatsoever. It's your time to hide, so you hide under the bed. But you get found out pretty quickly.
There you are. I found you.
After my sister Rose came back, she'd always seem more distant, like she was in some sort of dream. Maybe she was. Maybe she wasn't. But after my sister Rose came back, she was never really Rose again. When it's September's time to hide, you manage to find her in the wardrobe, but when you go to open the wardrobe...
Wow, you're really good at hide and seek. You found me. 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 You found me.
I really like this video a lot. I think it expands on the idea of young children being online and being preyed upon. As it turns out, September disappeared, but came back. But unfortunately, she disappeared once again. However, if you just watch the video and nothing else, you aren't really getting the whole picture. Because when you enable the captions for the video, you start to see a conversation at play. This conversation is between Rose and a boy called Ken on what appears to be a chat room. However, it becomes quickly apparent that Ken isn't who he says he is. He disregards her request to be called Rose and instead calls her September. He guides her to send over images of her drawings to him via email, and even asks about taking pictures of Rose's clothes. Ken even guides her to go outside to play hide and seek with him, and suggests even to sneak out while no one is looking. I think it's not hard to put two and two together to see that Ken is a predator. Like, some of the things he says is just really fucking disgusting, and what happened to Rose after meeting Ken is apparent from the messages between the games. She became distant, and appeared to look like she was in a dream, before being taken away again, never to be seen again. Rose was a victim of CSA, and it completely changed her. I think it's also apparent because during the glitches in the dress-up part of the video, her face is completely transformed into a swole. Considering the allusions to CSA and grooming, it's hard not to think of the notorious predator Mr. Swoleface during this section. Also, during the pancake flipping section, very blurry text appeared to tell a story about Rose, but luckily, the text is also in the video transcript as well. Poor Rose. She hadn't even realized what had happened. Everything was like a blur to her, and now her life was changed forever, and she had no say in it. Poor Rose. Like a crumpled up piece of paper at the bottom of the bin. No matter how many times you try to straighten it out again, it will never be as flat as it was before. It will always be imperfect. And you can still use a crumpled up piece of paper, but your drawings will never turn out as good as they would have been if you used a new piece of paper. But you can't use a new piece of paper, because this was your piece of paper. I would also like to mention that there is some sort of another video explaining one of the options when you click on crying. I'm not going to spoil it myself, it's quite short. Please go watch it. Moving on to Samara and Summer's big date, it focuses on two other characters within the AU that Seth has created, one of them actually being referenced in Best Friend September. It begins with Summer planning her look and outfit for the big date she's going to have with Samara. How cute. You select the clothing, the makeup, her contact lenses, okay, and then you move on to the date. But wait, you gotta get there first. Help Summer walk by clicking anywhere on the screen. Make sure not to click too fast. Summer wants to walk, not run. Oddly specific, but okay. You click on the map with a marker showing where Summer is, as she slowly approaches the park, but so does someone else. The marker is blacked out, but whoever it is, it's getting closer and closer until it's right on top of you. Another minigame plays where you have to call for help. You try, and try, and try again. But you fail. Samara finally arrives at the location, but isn't able to find Summer. She texts her, wondering if she's mad at her being late, but suddenly, she hears Summer's text ring. Samara finally finds Summer lying down and strikes a conversation with her.
There you are. What are you doing?
Laying?
In the mud?
Yup. Come, lay with me.
You want me to lay with you in the mud? Fine. What happened? Look, I'm sorry that I didn't show up. I was just... Never mind. I'm sorry. Are you still mad at me?
Another minigame plays and you piece together the story between Summer and Samara. They first met at school, and Samara made a bracelet for Summer. As time progresses, they begin to become closer, going to sleepovers, holding hands. Then Samara asks Summer out. But we all know what happened next. After whatever this cloak face thing is, I honestly have no idea what the fuck this even means. You go through several rooms. One of a younger Summer and collecting a bracelet. Another where you fix a clock to be the time of Summer's death. And another where you find Samara crying in a pool of water. Without any options, you give her the bracelet. I think this video is a perfect representation of the loss of someone you loved to something so tragic. Whether it be a freak accident or a horrible murder, it's something that you have to grieve through. And this is something that Seth really shows and focuses on in this video. The death is never the full focus, but rather the relationship and the characters that are shown in the video. It ends with Samara finally understanding that while she'll never see Summer again, she'll always remember her, and that she can finally move on. I also have to say that the sequence with the markers and the phone is so good, and honestly, it felt like it could have potentially come from an alternate version of the ending of Lacey's wardrobe. It's really well done, and I have to give full props to Seth. With these two videos, they absolutely show what you can do with the format of Lacey Games and make something that is familiar but brings something completely new to the table. While the inspirations of the horror parts are very much focused on the glitches of Lacey's wardrobe rather than the grungy art style shown in the later videos, it still speaks to new fears and horror that we as people are able to understand, whether it's the dangers of speaking to some random person online or losing a loved one way too soon. Seth, if you are watching this, please keep going, as I think you have a genuine real talent with what you're creating, and I hope you can come back and make your own piece of work that expands on the ideas that these videos show. There's tons more videos that I can't really cover all of them in greater detail like with the previous ones, There are videos where it shows different kinds of fan games that Lacey could be in. Things like working in a hair salon, having a magic 8-ball, a house makeover, and a love meter too. In fact, the love meter even got added in the actual Lacey Flash Games demo on Steam that you can just play. This version is better because you have a Grace Cam doing quirky things like making Reddit tier humor to scary moments and using ableist slurs to refer to a friend. Also, are we not going to mention that Grace just has the ability and computer know-how to upload people's minds to the internet? Are we just going to glance over that? No mention of that? Alright, fine. I also want to talk about some creators that saw the original and thought how it didn't really fit with the actual style of those Flash games at the time. So there's actually a whole genre of remakes which makes the original version of Lacey's wardrobe more authentic to the look and feel of those dress-up games, like Hello Kitty plushes on the bed and legally distinct Miley Cyrus posters too. Also, the remake is not very good because you didn't put the cat ears on her. You could have saved Lacey if you just put the cat ears on her. Bunny ears aren't gonna do jack fucking shit. There's so much more inspired videos of horror Flash games on YouTube that I can just go on for hours, each with their own cute little OC. I like the one where you're just playing hide and seek with this girl's boyfriend. I found it very cute and the art style is great as well. In fact, I'll be putting all of the fan games that I could find and worth showing in a playlist in the description below. Please check them out and see what you all think of them. Also, there's a Friday Night Funkin' mod for Lacey's games. Like, I thought it's worth mentioning it, but there's literally a Friday Night Funkin' mod for everything horror related, so I'm not really surprised about that. Also, remember Gone 47? I love that little cat.
Chris, look, I'm in Deltarune. I'm really in Deltarune.
Now, I've talked a lot about pieces of fan work that are inspired closely to the framings of Lacey's wardrobe and its exploration of childhood traumas and horrors. But imagine for a moment, what if there was a series that was inspired by Lacey Games, but its horrors was something else entirely? What if it used the framework and the base idea of Lacey Games, but went somewhere completely different, into new territory? Well, imagine no more, for I have the game series just for you. Introducing Lily's Little Video Shop, and also Lily's Little Barnyard, two games made by the game dev duo of Lich and Lily. These games were released in 2025 and have gathered some buzz with some of the horror creators on this platform, such as Faf9, Big Gaming 64, and, well, me just now. For this video, I will be going over a full playthrough of Lily's Little Video Shop, but I will mention the second game every now and then, whenever it's necessary. You first start off with the main menu, which you'll be seeing a lot as this is where you'll be starting the day. You wake up and you'll be greeted with a familiar scene. I start my night shift at the video store today. I better hurry, I can't be late for my first day. You finally reach the store at the dead of night and go inside to find a sticky note that basically acts as a tutorial.
Attention, new employee. You need to head to the storage room immediately. You can open the store and find tonight's list of products to stock.
Player name
Is your manager, so make sure to do your best. Weekly performance reports are done to ensure customers are happy and continue to visit your local Happy Video location.
Okay, cool. So the gist of the game is to check emails to see what you need to stock at your shelves, check the tapes for any errors or damage, and pick up any junk left behind. During this time, you get special events each day, like you meet yourself, but she has pink hair. I bet she even has pronouns. You take a break with her and find out that there's a flood in the bathroom, so you go and clean it up and manage to fully complete day one. However, I've left some details out of this day, specifically with the floating floppy disks, and some strange things that start to happen. When you first click on these disks, it looks like it's dev notes from one of the developers of the game, Pixel Junkie. In one of the other dev notes, you find something interesting out as well.
So there is a crazy glitch on day 1 where if you go to this lobby on step 15. I can't fix it on my own. Help. I really hope there aren't any more of these bugs. I don't have time to test every room.
Seems like the developers are having a hard time squashing out the bugs in this small little game. But let's try and replicate this glitch instead. A phone? Not a drawing of a phone, but like an actual phone? Also, when you were testing the broken tapes, you test the third one and it's nothing like the others. It's this found footage style video of someone exploring a house, a basement, and trekking through the woods as well. Okay, I want to comment on something that is glaring very much at your face. I want to talk about the art style. The characters look very much copy and pasted, there's this weird yellow tint to a lot of the background images, and the animated sections with the videotapes look quite off. Because of this, a lot of comments have popped up around this game questioning it to be generative AI or not, which the dev team have stated several times that it is not. However, there were some things that they said relating to showing off art assets properly that I just couldn't find, and when I tried to find evidence of them working on said art, I couldn't find it either. So I decided to reach out to the dev team via their Discord, and they actually informed me that they are still planning on working on a website to show off the art process and other lore tidbits. But he isn't sure when it will be done since the artist doesn't really want to work on the game anymore due to these AI accusations. As someone who is dating an artist, I can completely understand how that feels. The rise in generative AI has eroded a lot of trust in these kinds of games and the art style, and it's a shame that this has affected someone as a result. I was going to leave it there, but turns out they decided to send me some concept art and line art of some of the characters for the game, which is really cool. They didn't need to do this, but I appreciate them doing so. I have also reached out to an artist friend of mine as well, and she also says that this isn't AI and that the copy-pasted look is intentional, so there you go. Anyway, you start day 2 and it's the same thing. You go into the store, find an email telling you to not open the box as it has money that hasn't been checked out yet. You do your chores, hear the doorbell ring, so you go to the lobby to greet your new customer and... oh, it's my favorite customer. Problem.mp3. Yeah, things are starting to get weird now, and what's worse is that someone did some property damage to the store. So you go clear it up, but you can't help but pique your curiosity with the box. You actually found this key in the VHS room, so why not open it? So you do that.
I'll just take a little cash.
But nothing happens. In fact, there's a notification on the PC. You check it, and it's not an email, but a chat log from the developers.
Can we get the bug team to check out what's going on with the system ticks? It seems like certain levels always freak out on certain ticks. Or is it just me?
No, it's not just you. This damn barn must be cursed. Every time I transition to nighttime, the whole background just disappears.
I don't know what team you expect to work on this. You are each responsible for your respective games.
Okay, well, I didn't sign up to rewrite this whole engine. We agreed to work on individual games. I think we all expected this was going to be a lot smoother. I can't squash all these bugs myself, you know.
We almost have the repository set up for Dreamcore. You'll be able to pull up the updates for the engine soon.
Working on memory improvements currently. We'll look at the reported bugs before we push the full engine to the repository.
Now that you've checked out the chat logs, you decide to quit out of the computer. I guess the glitch just did that? Okay, I definitely think the game did that too. Holy fucking shit. You replay day 2 again, but everything is distorted and filled with a red mist. You do your daily tasks once again, and you pick up the key again, but... Wait, the key is red in the inventory, what the fuck? You actually go back to check your messages on your PC, and you hear the doorbell ring again. You go to check and... Okay, game's haunted. Yeah, game's totally fucking haunted. So, I'm just gonna click on the image real quick. Oh, okay, I guess we're on day 3 now. Lily doesn't really seem to know what we're seeing on our end, only commenting on the fact that the shifts are catching up to her in terms of her sleep schedule. So you go out for another day of work. But you don't follow her. Suddenly you're in a 3D environment. The 2D Flash game you were initially playing is gone. You're in a basement and you check a floating VHS tape floating nearby. And it shows a tape of someone stalking through a house.
The lights are never on. It's lonely down here. You can rest now.
After watching that weird fucking thing, you decide to look around the basement and actually find another door. And suddenly, you can actually open it with the key you got in the red level. Find some scissors and another tape.
I wait patiently. You sleep so soundly. These will work.
After getting the scissors and climbing up the stairs to the ground floor, you get jump scared by a spooky man and it kicks you back to the main menu, ready for day 4.
Well, that was kind of weird.
Okay, so you get the picture. You go through each day in the video shop, finding specific keys that you need to progress through the 3D level on the next day. This gameplay loop is relatively simple in and of itself. On day 4, you get a crowbar and you see your friend again, who asks you to hide her in the bathroom because someone is following her. And that person comes in to the store asking where she is. What's worse is that your friend is now trapped inside the bathroom and you need to break her free. And so you do that. What's actually interesting about this specific day is that Pixel Junkie added this into the game herself from past experience.
Would it be okay if I put a creepy dude event in the game? Nothing serious, just a weird dude stalking one of Lily's friends.
How creepy are we talking? Like, stalker, killer, wear your skin kinda creepy, or like, doesn't shower for a week kinda creepy?
Damn, Neat, chill out.
Yeah, it should be fine, but make sure you keep it toned down. This game is made for kids on their parents' email machine after all.
Oh, it'll be very toned down. Just a little bit of personal experience I thought would make a great little side event.
Oh. I think I might know who the girl sleeping soundly might be. Worse enough is that going through the second 3D level, you find out that there's a storm that broke a tree, so you can't proceed forward into the yard. While looking through the garage, you find a saw, and you look at the panel by the car, and I'm starting to think you're playing as someone else. Through the tapes, you find out that the person you're playing as used an ongoing storm to get into the house through the basement window and slowly and methodically block off all means of escape. And there's also something I haven't shown you yet as well. Some text messages who I believe to be Pixel Junkie and her roommate, Mimi. Pixel is talking about being late due to the storm, and Mimi says that she's been having some phone issues too. The storm is also referenced in a chat log where she is worried about her missing roommate and her dog. As you go through the house, exploring every nook and cranny, you go into one of the rooms upstairs and... Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you don't get all 3 red items, the game just kicks you back to the beginning of the game. How radical. This approach of getting the true ending is what I like to call the I'm scared approach, where you have to unlock literally everything in order to proceed. To break the storytelling for a moment, my biggest gripe with this game is the way its endings are achieved. It's definitely worse in this game, but in Lily's Little Barnyard, they did fix some parts to make it easier, but the issue is still there if you are stupid and don't click on everything. Having the game reset all the way to the beginning without any kind of resolution is not great, in my opinion. You don't have any idea of how the story ends whatsoever, and you're basically super annoyed at having to redo the whole game again.
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
Anyways, small rant over, let's get all of the red items and continue onward. When you get the red crowbar, you can actually break open the boards blocking a crawl space into a different room. This room has another tape showing a miasma of blood and gore and what the man considers to be his trophy. When you get the red bolt cutters on day 6, you can break open the chains blocking the door. And when you go through, you unlock New Game Plus. Throughout New Game Plus, you piece together what happened to Pixel Junkie, Mimi, and the Stalker. Through a minigame you need to do to progress, it's revealed that Pixel's name is in fact Ashley, and that both Ashley and Mimi were both tortured, had their tongues cut off, and sawn into pieces by the Stalker. They were then later buried in a mound, where it was then burned by the local indigenous tribe. There's actually another text message you get before all of this occurs, and it's actually a conversation between Mimi and Ashley, but it's actually not them. It's the Stalker, using both Mimi's and Ashley's phones to pretend to text each other as some sort of cruel joke to him. Finally, on day 9 in New Game Plus, you explore the aftermath of the carnage. Blood all over the walls, both of the rooms in disarray, and as you finally leave through the route you made with the red items, the final sequence takes place. I think you won? I think someone won here. I'm probably the fucking creep. I'm gonna be real. I really love this game a lot. With the details of the Flash game, you are initially believed that it'll just be a jumpscare fest with warped faces. In some cases, it is just that, but when the 3D section first appeared, I was fully engrossed in the story and the horror within. Does the story rely on a lot of blood and guts? Sure it does, but I think it's executed in this game idea extremely well, and the best thing about it is that the developers are actually listening to critique and wanting to make changes. They actually made the game less boring with you automatically moving on from the red version of the game once completed, which is really good. I will give them props on that. You may have noticed I haven't really talked about the sequel, Barnyard. that much. Well, that's where I want you to come in. I want you to play Barnyard. It's much better than the original, the gameplay is much more engaging, and the story is more bloody and disturbing than ever before. In fact, the game was actually briefly taken down on Steam due to some content in the game being too disturbing, but luckily, they managed to get it fixed and the game is all back up now. Could have done that for another game though, huh? But no, you just hate Italians, don't you, Steam? What did they ever fucking do to you? Did they piss on your mum? Did they piss on Gabe? Anyway, here's my call to action for the video. Play through Lily's Little Barnyard, and maybe Lily's Little Video Shop too if you want to find some secrets that I haven't shared to you yet. If you do like the game, then please give it a good review on Steam. I think this game dev duo is really good at what they do, and it's an absolute shame to see that talent and a really good idea go to waste. I have been talking a lot about Lacey Games inspired works, and the reason why is because I love how creative fandoms can be. You have something that spoke to so many people, and people loved it so much that they spend hours or days crafting their own tale, that, whether derivative or not, says something new or expands on something completely different. I don't think anything is truly original on the internet. We're essentially borrowing tiny bits and pieces from each other. People call it being inspired, but others call it, reheated nachos, whatever the fuck that means. I know I harped on the whole, oh my god, there's a ghost in my edutainment game series, but actually looking at those series, you can tell that they've got a lot of differences from each other. One deals with a toxic relationship that fell apart, while being framed as a archive channel with its own ARG website as well, and the other deals with grief and unresolved trauma with its own playable games. Plus it has our hot rat scientist, which is very underrated. Furry Eyes, get on that shit. Also, Milton Math Games gets a big thumbs up for me personally because it uses the Bitsy game engine for its games, and as someone who has dabbled with it in the past, it's really nice to see that be used in this kind of media. I also want to talk about the art of these videos that I've covered today. I know some of you may consider this to be kind of amateurish or not that great in your opinion, but I still love it because it reminds me that someone with dreams and ambitions made it. All of its mistakes, its errors, its scribbles and flubs show that someone cared enough about their own idea to pull it into reality, and I cannot commend that enough. It's why it's a shame that generative AI has become more prevalent lately, and I've seen it used a lot in fandom spaces in more ways than I can even imagine. There was a trend a couple of years back surrounding the Nicki Minaj album, Pink Friday 2, where users will exclaim that they're going to Gag City. It could have been a great chance to show off their Photoshop skills, drawing and fan art of the artist and the world that she created. But instead, it's AI image after AI image after AI image after AI image. It's just depressing to see. Also depressing to see is whatever the fuck Nicki Minaj is doing right now with her MAGA turn. It's also why these AI accusations can have a massive negative effect on people, with not wanting to make art or fan content of their favorite thing, seeing as what happened with one of the developers for Lily's Little Video Shop. It's depressing because you all have to start somewhere with your art. Maybe you write some fanfiction about a story you like, and then you improve upon your work, and finally release a book that's worth talking and discussing about. Maybe drawing that animation is what's needed to push you to go full-time as an animator, to chase your dreams. We all have to start somewhere, and fandom is the perfect place to put your foot on that first step. There's an article I came across during the editing of this video called The Hill I Will Die On, Fanfiction is Real Literature by Uj Ashfad, that really puts into perspective the thoughts and feelings I have regarding fan content, especially the last few lines. Fanfiction allows people to explore identity, sexuality, trauma, and love through characters they already trust. For many queer readers and writers, it is the first place they saw themselves represented. It's messy, derivative, occasionally incomprehensible, but so is life. And that's what makes it beautiful. These videos show that there are some talented people just hidden away in the deep cracks of the fandom, and they're just waiting to show you what else they can do. Write that story you've been wanting to make. Start finally learning how to draw, so you can draw that funny guy you saw on Tumblr, and make art that speaks to others, so that the cycle can begin anew. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've had a great time looking through all of these fan works and even just going back to the original work and looking at it in a new light. If you want to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and do anything you can to help boost this in the algorithm. If you want to see what I'm up to, then please check out my Blue Sky account if you can handle me retweeting hot furry women every so often. And if you want to support me financially, then you can just throw me some money at me via my Ko-fi, which is in the description below. I'm currently in between jobs, so all of the help is appreciated. I would also like to thank my friends for voicing some of the characters in the Lily section. Their names should be showing up now, and I'll credit them in the description as well. And please go support Lich and Lily as well. The games should also be in the description as well, and I enjoyed playing it. Now that everything is done, I'm going to make my sweet loved one a pie. What kind of flavor? Well, you just gotta eat it to find out. Okay, whatever, bye.